A colleague of mine shared that his wife had been experiencing muscle cramps, nerve pain, and back pain, even though she was seeing a chiropractor several times a week for several months. After using what a group of naturopaths called a modified Lowenberg or tissue calcium test, her back pain was gone in 15 minutes, and her nerve pain was gone in an hour. And the next day, she was back to her old self. Now, every patient is not going to get that type of result, but it was so dramatic I thought I'd share the test and how it works. The tissue calcium test was originally designed to see which form of calcium was most appropriate. But if you use it, you'll find out it helps determine the need for other minerals as well. One of the strongest indicators of a need for tissue calcium is muscle cramping at rest. However, muscles need other minerals and cofactors besides calcium to work at optimal performance. The goal of the tissue calcium test is to create an artificial cramp using a blood pressure cuff and assess the value. I've attached a written version of how to do the test, but here's the short version. First, this test is not for patients with underlying vascular disease. For the average patient, place the blood pressure cuff around the belly of the calf muscle and inflate slowly, about 10 millimeters of mercury per pump. Ask the patient to tell you when they experience pain or discomfort. It's more than pressure. We want a distinct discomfort. I describe it as the moment before you think the cramp is coming. A patient with sufficient tissue calcium can withstand 200 millimeters of mercury or more easily. If a patient experiences cramping or irritation or pain below 200 millimeters of mercury of pressure, they failed the test. Use a slightly lower cutoff or 180 millimeters of mercury for elderly or frail patients. Always do the test on both legs. Use the muscle as your testing indicator that has the most dysfunction, which is the leg with the lowest number. If your patient fails to screen, you have several options. You can give them a multi-mineral formula with all the cofactors necessary to replenish tissue minerals for 30 days and retest. I like to use OsteoB2, which has a nice 1-to-1 ratio of calcium to magnesium, as well as the supporting minerals and vitamins necessary to facilitate bone health. Most patients don't realize that we need small amounts of zinc, copper, manganese, boron, as well as vitamins D, C, and K for muscle and bone. OsteoB2 also has the phosphorylated B vitamins to support the Krebs cycle. I suggest 3 tablets twice a day. Also, consider adding some digestive support if they have gas, burping, or bloating, which is probably why they have the calcium or mineral deficiencies. Explain that you'll be repeating the test in 30 days. And if they don't respond to the first round of nutrients, you will do an extended office visit to individualize the type of nutrients they need. As a side note, whenever I give patients the option to individualize nutrients as opposed to taking my favorites, the majority choose the individualized approach. But I must confess, the fun part for me comes when I use the neurolingual taste testing, which I consider a more direct approach. By tasting the nutrient, nerves in the mouth signal the hypothalamus, which can give a signal to the muscles in lightning speed. Muscles in our discussion, calf muscles, respond based on new stimuli. It's pretty amazing when someone cramps at 150 millimeters of mercury of pressure and they taste a supplement and seconds later they can withstand 200 or more. Circling back to my colleague's wife, she experienced cramping at 110 millimeters of mercury in one leg and 100 in the second leg. He tried several calcium products he had at home, but nothing worked. He decided to try superphosphazyme. She was surprised that she could easily withstand 180 millimeters of mercury of pressure, but when he added Kzyme, a potassium supplement, in addition to superphosphazyme, she didn't experience the cramp until 200 millimeters of mercury. It was dramatic, to say the least. The downside of neurolingual taste testing is that it takes longer, so you'll need to schedule a separate appointment. But you'll be amazed at the things the body wants and how fast it will respond. I say the fun part because this is where you'll discover things you've never considered. So if you're looking for ways to incorporate simple tests that give you information about a patient's physiology, the tissue calcium test is one to add to the list. Thanks for watching. I look forward to being with you again next Tuesday.